From the outside, their marriage was a picture of calm and respectability. He was a man of quiet discipline, composed and reserved, speaking only when he felt it was truly necessary. She found comfort in the stability he provided, a steady anchor in a chaotic world. But over time, that comfort began to feel like a cage. His quiet confidence, once a source of security, started to feel boring, predictable, and all too easy to take for granted. She found herself craving something more: excitement, attention, the thrill of validation from someone new. And then someone new appeared. Another man noticed her, laughed a little too easily at her stories, and showered her with the kind of compliments that fed her ego. With him, she felt a spark, a jolt of life she hadn't felt in years. She told herself it was harmless fun, a small secret to keep things interesting. She convinced herself that her husband, with his steady, logical mind, would never understand this need for something different. Back at home, a chasm grew between them. She became distant, challenging him over small things, questioning his decisions, constantly testing the limits of his patience. She was searching for a reaction, any reaction, a flicker of anger, a sign of jealousy, anything that would prove he cared enough to lose his legendary control. But he never did. His unwavering calm unsettled her more than any outburst ever could have. But don't mistake his silence for ignorance. He noticed everything: the way she guarded her phone, the late nights she claimed were with friends, the subtle but persistent tone of disrespect in her voice. He said nothing. Not because he was unaware, but because he was watching, gathering the facts, letting the truth reveal itself without his intervention. The day it all came out wasn't a shocking explosion. It was a quiet confirmation of what he already suspected. The evidence was laid out before him, clear and undeniable, leaving no room for excuses or lies. He felt a surge of anger, of course, but it never reached his face. It was quickly replaced by something colder, sharper, and far more dangerous than rage. It was resolve. He didn't confront her right away. He let her continue in her deception, letting her believe she was clever, that she was untouchable, that she was the one in control. That false sense of security he knew would be her greatest weakness. When he finally decided to speak, his voice was calm and steady. He didn't accuse. He didn't ask questions he already knew the answers to. He simply stated facts, dates, names. The well-rehearsed lies she had told him so many times. Her carefully constructed confidence shattered in an instant. She tried to laugh it off, a nervous, high-pitched sound that didn't reach her eyes. She tried to minimize it. She blamed the monotony of their routine. Ultimately, she blamed him. He didn't engage with her excuses. He just listened, his eyes steady, his expression completely unreadable. And that's when the fear began to creep into her chest. She looked at him and realized she was no longer seeing her husband. The emotional connection was gone. The man standing before her was not the man she thought she could manipulate. He was detached, controlled, and finished. He told her the marriage was over. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't a point in an argument. It was a final decision that had already been made. That's when the panic set in. She begged. She cried. She promised she would change. She promised to be honest from now on. But desperation doesn't undo betrayal, and tears don't magically restore respect. He moved with swift and silent efficiency. The legal steps were taken without any drama. His assets were protected. Clear boundaries were enforced. He didn't air their dirty laundry in public. He didn't seek sympathy from friends or family. His silence spoke louder and more powerfully than any angry explanation ever could. And the other man, the one who had ignited this whole fire? He disappeared the very moment responsibility came knocking. He was interested in the thrill of secrecy and excitement, not the real-world consequences of his actions. Suddenly she was left completely alone with the reality she had single-handedly created. Her world shifted overnight. The whispers of admiration she used to enjoy were replaced by the whispers of gossip. Friends grew distant. The invitations to social events stopped coming. The confidence that had once been her defining feature curdled into annoying insecurity and a constant sense of dread. Every familiar street, every shared memory felt like a form of punishment. Meanwhile, he began to transform, not in a loud or flashy way, not for show. He channeled his pain into purpose. He refined his discipline, sharpened his focus, and started elevating every single area of his life. The betrayal didn't break him, it became his fuel, his presence changed. He carried himself with a new weight, a new authority, people noticed. Respect didn't have to be demanded, it followed him naturally. Months later, when she saw him again, she barely recognized the man standing before her. He was calmer, stronger, and radiated a powerful indifference. His complete lack of reaction to her presence terrified her more than his anger ever had. She decided to try one last time. She approached him and offered a sincere apology. She admitted to everything, holding nothing back. She asked him for forgiveness, not for a second chance, not for love, just for mercy. He listened patiently until she was finished. Then he told her a truth she was completely unprepared to hear. He said he had forgiven her a long time ago. But forgiveness didn't mean granting her access back into his life. Forgiveness didn't mean reconciliation. Forgiveness for him simply meant that she no longer occupied any space in his mind. He wished her well, turned, and walked away without a single moment of hesitation. That was the moment that truly crushed her. She finally, truly understood what she had lost. It wasn't just a husband. It was a man of rare self-control, unwavering loyalty, and immense inner strength. Someone who could have protected her, grown with her, and stood by her side through anything life threw at them. She had traded permanence for a fleeting moment of attention, and now she was paying the lifelong price. He never looked back. His life moved forward, free from bitterness or a need for revenge. She, on the other hand, remained behind, trapped in a prison of her own regret. Years later, she would still feel the profound weight of that loss. Not because she still wanted him back, but because she knew, with absolute certainty, that she would never again encounter that level of stability, loyalty, and quiet power in another person. The true alpha was never loud. He never needed to prove a point or seek revenge. He simply chose himself. And that single choice changed everything. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content on strength, resilience, and self-respect. See you in the next one.